Hey, welcome back. I didn't bore you too much. All right, this lecture is just an extension off of the natural gas fracking lecture part one. We talked about the process in that lecture and how it's vertical drilling, horizontally drilling, fracturing the rock with frac fluid, keeping the cracks of the rock open with sand so the gas is allowed to seep out far after the fracking process ends. Well, building the site is very involved. You need 3 to 5 acre footprint. Now that could be in the middle of a cornfield, or that could, you don't have to clear cut forest, or that could be in the middle of nowhere in a very like forested area, which could be a huge con in some people's eyes. Look at all these trucks being tanked in here. We got trucks to bring in the drilling equipment, trucks to bring in water, trucks to take out waste. And on average, the lifespan of a well is anywhere between 3 and 50 years. And in that time period, it could be re-drilled 10 times. Now, that drilling process might only take 30 days. But like I mentioned before, that sand in the rock keeps the cracks from closing and allows the gas to just seep out and being sucked up to the surface. Now, in many people's eyes, this is a huge con which by the way, I want to make a statement. I'm just going to lay out the pros and the cons. I'm not going to try to sway you either way, and you make the decision whether or not you think fracking is worth it, environmentally, financially, whatever. So again, I want just to lay it out for you to play it out. I'm leaving my opinion sort of out of this. I'm just sharing the facts with you. And the fact is, a lot of people see this as a con. Small country roads being destroyed by all these huge trucks being trucked in to carry water and carry out waste, and the drilling equipment and the brine pits, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And this is just an aerial shot to show you what 3 to 5 acres really looks like being clear cut, which is a huge problem environmentally. We've talked about this all year long. So let's start off with the cons, the potential cons of fracking. Site prep is definitely a con, which I guess relates to air and noise pollution and infrastructure damage, and then potentially economic impacts. And this acronym, NIMBY, is not in my backyard. So let's start with some of the site prep and air and noise pollution. So imagine living near these compressors that are always humming, and maybe looking at these compressors through an infrared, which could potentially leak out methane. We have all this noise, and by the way, noise is considered to be a pollutant, which the infrastructure damage has known to been, you know, chemical fires and gas eruptions and contamination of aquifer, or stress emergency services and stress on roads and bridges, like this blowout in nearby. I think this was south of Pittsburgh, way south of Pittsburgh, and infrastructure damage to roads and to bridges, which means that eventually they need to spend money to fix this. Economic impacts, like people are worried, do people want to live here anymore, or is that going to decrease tourism, and so on and so forth, which some people claim that this picture is altered, but nonetheless it really shows what it could look like not in my backyard. You want this process in your backyard, and that is a huge, 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 huge con to some people. Now, what you're looking at right here is called the brine pit. And I think this is probably one of the most reasonable cons that people think of when they think of fracking. However, I want to tell you that technology, modern day technology, is so much more advanced. So, the water pollution a long time ago, there was a chance of water polluting or the fracking fluid polluting the groundwater, but not so much anymore because of this 6 or 7 layer casing of concrete. So, on site, the drill site, water pollution is probably, I don't know, I don't want to say not, but the chances of fracking fluid polluting the groundwater right here at the drill site has decreased dramatically. Scientists love to be redundant. So they have, when they drill, they fill, up this area with like 6 or 7 layers of thick concrete. So if the inner layer breaks, fracking fluid has 6 other layers to penetrate before it even infiltrates the groundwater, which is amazing. And like I mentioned, modern day technology is getting so much safer, or so much more advanced, that makes the process safer. A long time ago, maybe this number wasn't 80 to 90%. Remember what I said, 5 to 7 million gallons of water are used to frack a well one time. Now, that uses a lot of water. And that frac fluid in modern day is sucked out, 80 to 90% of it, and stored on site, rather than what it used to, just being stored in the ground, just let it sit there. And all that frac fluid could then migrate through cracks and crevices and find its way to a water table, which could potentially pollute the water table. But now technology is getting so much better, 80 to 90% of this is being sucked out, and it's being stored in brine pits. Now, the brine pit is an area of concern, maybe not so much anymore. It's, again, nothing is 100% bulletproof. But brine pits might have looked like this. Some might still look like this, where it's just a tarp, and a little pebble can puncture this, and frac fluid could, go through the barrier and seep into the soil, into the groundwater. Now, brine pits might be elevated in thick layers of concrete, and it really does a much better job on safeguarding our groundwater from frac fluid. Now, if you're worried about high concentration of toxins and carcinogens in frac fluid, then I question, or not me, but like other people question, other people, scientists, and they just question, like, well, then you should be equally concerned about what you're putting in your body. Frac fluid, in case you don't know, is 99.95% sand and water. And then the other 0.5% of that, yes, are chemicals. Some chemicals are, decreased corrosion of the pipes. But when you look at the 0.5% of the chemical additives, a lot of these chemicals you put on or in your body in much higher concentrations more frequently. I mean, just look at this stuff. So we've got laundry detergent, hand soaps, cosmetics, antifreeze, table salt, swimming pool cleaner, cosmetics, baked goods, ice cream, toothpaste, sauces, food additives, food and juice beverages, lemon juice. The list goes on and on and on. Antiperspirant. So yeah, be concerned about the frac fluid. Many people think I don't really care if it's only 0.5%. It's still in there, and it's causing me stress. And that's totally fine. I'm not telling you not to stress. But what I'm telling you is then you have to be equally as stressed as and aware of what you put in your body. You can't claim one thing and then do another thing equally or more detrimental to your body than frac fluid is. So if you're really concerned about frac fluid, then consider organic soaps and antiperspirant that doesn't have chemicals in it. Think about all the things that you expose yourself to, and then decrease that as well. So I think, and scientists think, that the major concern of frac fluid decreasing, increasing water pollution would be wastewater treatment plants. These facilities can't treat frac fluid. So I guess the question is, what do we do with it? And that is the major question surrounding wastewater treatment and fracking. So those are all the cons. So here are some major pros. We talked about major pros of natural gas. It's clean, tons and tons and tons of money for landowners and state and local economies. It provides us energy independence, which is amazing. This, in my opinion, is like the best pro. Like, so much money is underneath our feet that you could take okay, maybe you tax some of that money just a little bit, but use that tax revenue to fund R&D, research and development, for solar and wind and geothermal, just to make it way more affordable for the average Joe. Technology is really, really, really more advanced than it was in the early 60s and 70s and 80s and 90s. And it's just making it so much safer for the environment. And tougher laws now are, environmental scientists are being hired by fracking the oil business and the gas business to make sure that they're following the Clean Air Act and the Clean Water Act. I mean, it is so much more safe now than it was before. So, like I mentioned, tighter laws are becoming on the books. Most states, including Pennsylvania, have rules requiring drillers to keep wastewater from seeping into the ground and groundwater. And not all states have such rules. So I'm running out of time. I hope that you learn the pros and cons and that you're able to make your own decision about fracking. Thanks for listening. Have a good day.